Well, we're 4 days into that fresh start server. I took a whole day off just to spend some time with my family, but yeah, I'm almost level 60 already. Leveling is so much faster than it used to be, and gearing for PvP is just getting easier and easier now. At the beginning of the game, it was a little bit more complex, and you had to do a little bit of planning in order to make yourself as geared out as possible. But once you start hitting level 45 to 50, the gear drops that you get just from random chests and stuff are basically the best stuff you have access to. There are maybe a few items you could go out and farm, like the ill-gotten gain, but for how long it takes to try to get a drop like that, it is totally not worth it at this level. And there are comparable quest rewards that are arguably just as good or better that you're going to get from the main story quest anyway as you just keep leveling up. So yeah, what I mean with PvP gearing is that it's just become incredibly simple. I just keep on leveling my character, keep on progressing through the main story, and any pieces of gear that I get as drops from kills or random chests, anything I can find, even the PvP reward tracks, I'm just equipping and using. Both my rapier and my musket have been replaced at this point as well, and I'm just gemming out my stuff with the best low-tier gems that I can find on the trading post. All my supplies and everything I'm buying from the trading post as well. Everything is much cheaper now than it was in the first couple days. So yeah, gearing out is just getting simpler and simpler. It's basically just use the drops you can find and look on the trading post to see if there's any supplies or even pieces of gear that would be some good upgrades for you. You do kind of have the option of going for the faction token gear, but it's so expensive and honestly so not worth it. I think at this stage of the game, the drops you get are good enough that just go to 65. Getting those additional levels is going to be way more worth your time. So yeah, PvP wise, I still feel very competitive to people around my level. The only thing I notice is that when we fight those 65s that have 700 plus gear score, they feel really strong. So yeah, at this bracket, you're pretty much competitive against anything that isn't a 65 with endgame gear, and it feels good, it feels good. So we're gonna get into that PvP commentary, but at the end of the video is a detailed breakdown of how my build looks so far, and I tell you guys how I'm achieving and getting all these different pieces of gear if you want to go a little bit more in depth and look at it, and if you've been following along with my video guides these past few days, just how to build your character in PvP for this game. So without further ado, let's begin. You can see here, I was having a mortal duel against my rival here, Kumathan, and another player ends up coming in with the musket, and he starts shooting me up, and I am forced pretty hard into a retreat here. He does a ton of damage with his musket, just like I do to him, and unfortunately, it's too much pressure from these guys, and I end up going down. But you guys know me, that's not the end of that. I quickly respawn and end up running back, and look at this. I catch the musket player at half health, very quickly two-shot him, and he ends up going down. And I'm just gonna go and pick up the gear, and it looks like the other player here didn't even notice that I killed. No, he did. He's hiding around the corner. He's waiting for me. I throw the trap, beautiful trap, right at his feet, and he ends up blowing the stamina. I don't even think he saw I threw the trap there. Kind of caught him off guard with it, and I managed to get some decent damage in there. I expect him to chase me down the hill, but he goes back around the corner, so it looks like he's kind of prioritizing cover a little bit here, and he ends up coming out towards me, and now the mob starts shooting at me. I just start picking on the mob right away. If there's one thing I've learned in all this open world PvP, don't let these mobs pile up on you, because they definitely become a problem. And if there's just one, I can at least try to put a bit of pressure into him. But as you can see, as soon as the other player gets on top of me here, I go back to prioritizing and focusing on him. I don't want him to just catch me with his attacks. And here you can see, the greatsword is a weapon, and sword and shield can be kind of tricky to fight because they have good gap closers and quite a bit of reach. Now, he's not using all of the gap closers here, but a big thing with the greatsword is those heavy attacks, and we want to make sure we watch out for those and I-frame them as best we can. And when he swings his heavies, I always try to roll through him, forcing that direction change. Because greatsword has good reach, if you roll away, they move towards you as you roll away, so their next heavy can line up with you. So here you can see I roll away from him, and he can easily connect, and I'm forced into the double roll in order to break that distance successfully. And that right there is the value of that direction change. And here you can see as he comes back towards me, as he comes within attacking distance, I go for that roll through him. He again goes for the spin, and I roll through him, and just constantly forcing those turnarounds, especially if people are using auto-aim, is a good way to just kind of get those nice little tricks in, and I get a good backstab there. But big respect to Kumathan here. He's definitely not using auto-aim. I can tell from how his character is moving, and Yeah, he's doing a good job trying to track here, but he ends up picking up the aggro of the boss, and I try to go for some pressure to finish him off, and just as he's low on health again, Johnny comes back. Oh my gosh, this guy is thorn in my side in here. I get lucky with the juke there, just getting the right path to have a little bit of line of sight, but the sword and board player right behind me here, I do manage to escape just in time with the evade into the roll. But the musket player, oh, it looks like he's actually just kind of behind the thing there, so I can have a little bit of an opportunity to put some pressure in. I managed to get some good damage with the Flourish and Finish into the evade there. And honestly, I'm using Flourish and Finish because riposte stopped working for me. I don't know about you guys, but my riposte is completely bugged out and it's not working anymore. But anyway, here we go. They both come around the corner. I take a nasty shot there from the musket, and I try to break the distance towards him, and oh my god, I track into the NPC. That is absolutely devastating, and then these guys just lock me down and kill me right away. Oh man, you guys know me. I'm not okay with that. I try to go back for round 3, and I run into 2 yellow players before I get there. I run past them to see if they're aggressive. They are, so I turn around, go back through them, quickly heal up with my potion. And now we got a fight. Looks like a healer in the back and Great Axe and Hammer in the front. The Great Axe player, he gets me with the Reap. I right away hit the Flourish and Finish and then back away to try to break a little bit more distance. We want to make sure to kite the healer here. His name is Aimbot Master, so I'm assuming he's going to land those light and heavy attacks at a distance. So I do my best just to do a lot of direction changes here. With Great Axe especially, you have to be careful with direction change. You don't want to go in one direction because they will hunt you down. Similar to the Great Sword, trying to roll through these guys as often as possible. And here you can see I kind of put myself in a corner. The only way to go is through him, and he ends up throwing the gravity well behind me, so that works really well to my advantage, and I get the distance I need away from the Great Axe player as he runs past me. And I keep trying to focus my shots into the healer. It's going to be tough to kill the other guy while the healer's alive. And there's bad timing for the Flourish and Finish there. He's got grit as he goes into the hammer stun, so he catches me. Thankfully, the other player nicks me, so I don't eat a full stun combo, and I'm able to slip out of there with evade. And there I go for a pretty risky flesh to try to get some backstab damage in. I got good damage on I think one of them there, but they end up healing up really quick. But that's good for me. They just used their heals. The Great Axe player just caught with his stam down for a moment. I do get the Flourish and Finish, but he returns right away with the stagger, and I back up, manage to hit the trap just as he steps forward onto it, and then I think he has a misfire there where he goes for the hammer move, and that just opens up a nice shot for me, and I finish him off with a pretty big crit on that power shot, and now it's just me and the healer left. And oh man, you guys know this story in PvP. Trying to kill the healer when they don't want to die. He is running Flail and Life Staff, so we know he's got those debuffs and the stuns coming around the corner from Flail, so I'm doing my best to be aggressive and try to bait it out. But he ends up not pulling it out. He's just kind of tanking his circle. That's okay. He backs up a little bit more here. I am pulling, it looks like, both of the shots from the mobs here. It's not amazing. And he hits me with the Flail. Now, the Flail has really good debuff and really good CC. So if we get hit by that, it kind of takes a moment before our offensive combos are going to be as effective, because we got to wait for that weaken to kind of fall off. And there you could see he just camps that circle. I try my best to put the pressure in, and the NPC hits me with a super nasty stagger. The enemy player taking advantage of that moment to put the damage in, and the Great Axe guy comes back. Oh my god, I am so dead here. Just get the evade in time, and I managed to roll away. Oh my god, I have to keep my eyes on the mobs there. I almost got caught by that super nasty combo, and I just managed to slink away. Big healing power from those level 40 potions, and I turn around, get really good damage on the hammer player, but the healing circle comes down. He's camping in the circle, but I still took a big chunk out of his health there. He does catch me with the Reap. I roll through him, again, always changing those directions. And here I just go for the aggression, try to hit the Flourish and Finish. And I manage to get that stagger, get the finishing hit. The hammer player goes down, and my friendly there, Badonka Gronk, man, he just comes in and saves my ass in this fight. What a great time to have a friend walk around the corner. Alright guys, let's take a look at that build. Starting off with the attribute points. The Constitution at 100. In the footage I had just below 7k health. I should have had 100 points in Constitution back then. It would have helped me immensely. You don't take a very big damage cut for putting those points in Constitution at this stage of the game when I have so many points to put. So yeah, we should be going 100 con at this stage, I think. It's going to help a lot with your healing too, because your potions will scale from that as well. We're running Musket Rapier, so 150 intel is definitely the way to go since we have elemental gems and half our damage is going to be arcane. This is going to be a big bonus from the 150 and the 100 jump points to our outgoing elemental damage. Now, if you don't have elemental gems, you could put more points in dexterity and less in intelligence. Now, taking a look at the weapon mastery, at this stage of the game, I have gotten enough PvP kills that I'm level 20 in both my weapons. You guys should probably be pretty close once you hit around level 50 to 55-ish. And this is what the tree looks like for Rapier. I switched out Riposte and I instead went for Flourish and Finish, just the first 3 points of it, and an additional perk by taking the Desperation for damage here. Riposte isn't working properly. I don't know what happened. It's like bugged out and it's just not doing what it needs to do for me. So yeah, I dumped it in favor of Flourish and Finish for now. If I had a Rapier that had Leeching Flurry on it, I would actually run Flurry. But you have options. I just prefer having Flesh and Evade. Of course, you want that momentum passive for as much damage as possible. Flourish and Finish is nice for the stagger, a little bit of additional burst, and you can chain and evade on the end of it. So it's not a bad combo move at all, and it has some defensive and offensive utility. Now, taking a look at the musket tree, this is the finished version. We were almost there with the last stage of this build, and we hit 20 quite a while ago with our muskets. So yeah, lethal combo, definitely want. Traps fully fleshed out, first 2 in Power Shot, all 3 of Powder Burn, and then optimal range, heightened precision, empowering headshot. Of course, the hustle and the tactical reload passives are very important. If you guys are lower level than this, like level 20 or 30 or 40, I have earlier iterations of this build linked down below, and you can see how the skill trees look for earlier stages and what order you kind of want to take your skills in as you level up. This is just more of that finished version of the skill tree. Okay, now let's talk about the gear. So outside of the jewelry, basically everything has been random drops that I get from just killing stuff, maybe the PvP reward tracks. I have a helmet I picked up here, or something from a chest that I just picked up. So yeah, at this stage of the game, we're gunning for 65 anyway. We're going to get 700 gear score when we get closer to 60. So there's nothing really worth farming, quite honestly. We just want to keep leveling up, and as we level, we're going to get the best stuff that we can get as random drops. Once we hit 65, we can start to look at setting up that proper endgame build. That is the next step, but this is that final step before then for the beginner PvP build. All of this jewelry I got from doing quests outside of the Stone-Hewn Ring. This one was made from materia at the outfitting crafting station. The materia you can get from level 9 in your season's pass reward. I talked about this in the previous video if you guys didn't know about it, and you're just hearing about it now. That's how you get it. This is basically your best ring until we hit 65, or you find another drop that's a bit better. You can always check the trading post for this kind of stuff as well, guys. Seriously, the perks I have here are not bad. Regen is amazing. Hardy you definitely want. And something like Shirking Dot Cleanse and Refreshing Recovery is fantastic, but health is good for the amulet too. And then for the rest of the gear, for the armor, the perks that I really prioritize are things like Freedom and Refreshing and Health if I could find it. I got 1 Arcane Harnessing since both my weapons have Arcane gems on them. That's kind of nice, giving me a little bit more bonus damage. But yeah, the weapons, like I said, just whatever you can find. I managed to pick up Accelerating Trap Musket, which is awesome. And I did want to note this piece of jewelry in particular you get from doing the main story quest, and it has a Retaliate gem on it, which can give you up to 24% Empower. That's insane. This is actually an insanely good piece of jewelry. A lot of people would ask something like, is getting the Ill-Gotten Gain worth it at this point? No, because this is probably just as good, if not better, than Ill-Gotten Gain. So there you go. And then for supplies, at this stage, just buy them from the trading post, guys. If you want to buy stat boosting stuff as well, and maybe even honing stones to increase your weapon damage, you can. But honestly, you don't really need it. We're still kind of early game. When we hit 65, we can start looking at that stuff. But yeah, everything else just buy from the trading post. It's very cheap. And I know that you guys might say, is getting the faction gear worth it? Honestly, if you can buy higher gear score stuff, go for it. But for the most part, not really. You're better off just going for random drops that you get. So yeah, gearing's very simple now. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you liked the guide, and I hope you're having fun out there in PvP. If you want to check out some of the earlier game guides, you can find a link to them down below. I love this death. Oh my god, just luck was not on my side today. I don't know what to say. But anyways, I am live on Twitch if you guys want to catch some streams from me. I'm going to be doing 6-ish days a week, so I hope to see ya. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you next time.